Hey everybody, you're probably in the position where you decide to hire a salesperson and put them in a commission-based role, but you may not be sure how to actually structure that to protect the business, but also compensate that person fairly. So check out this video and see how I've done it with previous businesses. Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. Putting somebody in a commission role can be intimidating, or just in general, you don't know how to structure it to protect the business and make sure that person is fairly compensated. So a rule of thumb is your cost of sales should be somewhere between 8 and 12% of top line revenue, whether that's including marketing, sales material, training, or the commission and salary of those salespeople. So you need to know your numbers. You need to know, do you have space in your profit margin to cover that? You don't want to just say, oh, Mike said 10%, I'm going to go with 10%, but you don't really know what your profit margin is to make sure that can make sense for the business. So first off, you need transparency into your numbers. If you're not doing job costing right now, so you know exactly what percentage profit and how much money you're making per job, start there. Like, pause this video, go figure that out, and come back. But ultimately, when you look at, let's say, a $100,000 project or a $10,000 project, 8 to 12% should be your cost of sales. I typically like a flat rate top line revenue. It makes it easier for everybody to understand kind of what they're making per project. I have seen people go profit margin driven, like you get a percentage of the profit margin. The reason I don't like that is it's the sales guy's job to sell the project. It's the production team's job to make sure it's done profitably. Yes, the salesperson is in charge for what that project was sold for, but if your business has created some sort of standardized pricing structure and that person sold the project within the pricing structure you gave them, I don't think they should be negatively impacted because your production team did not produce the right way. So I've always done top line revenue as the baseline. If it's a $10,000 project, they're making money on the $10,000. So there could be some adjustment in there based on that. I've seen people do 40 and 40. If you hit a 40% profit margin, you get 40% of the profit. A lot of times it works out to about 10% of the overall project. So you gotta look at those numbers and figure out what makes sense for you. But ultimately, my opinion is when someone sells a project, they should know exactly what they're gonna get paid on it. It makes for easy transparency. It makes it easy to understand. It minimizes the gray area. It minimizes the friction. It minimizes the frustration. Because if someone sells a good project and your team doesn't deliver and they don't make as much money as they thought they were going to, that creates a rift between sales and operations. And trust me, there's already a big enough issue between sales and operations. So figure that out. Figure out your numbers. When you get to the point of how do I drive more sales? How do I expand upon what we're currently producing? I like doing monthly sales targets with sales incentives. Let's just say, for instance, you have a 13% cost of sales budgeted into your pricing. They would start at a 10% sales rate. If they hit a certain threshold, a certain sales figure for the month, you can upgrade them to 11, 12, or 13% so that they're pushing to close more deals within that month. A lot of times people just be like, oh, I'll make money on this month or next month, but what are you doing to drive them to push things to close faster? Because if they're on that threshold, let's just say for round numbers, it's a $100,000 threshold. If they sell 100 grand, they go from 10% to 13% commission on that. That's an extra $3,000, which is incredibly appealing to that salesperson. So let's say they're at 89,000 right now with a week left. They're gonna go out and try and close some deals really quickly to try and get that extra 3%. It promotes activity, it promotes creativity, it promotes someone to drive the need to close business because they directly benefit by closing more business. That might not be right for you with where you are right now, and if you're not doing a few $1 million a year in business, you may not be able to support that. But like, people a lot of times will ask me, well, Mike, how do I motivate my guys to sell more? Creating some sort of sales target incentive program can be good. Real quick, I want to talk about a sales leader. Let's say you have a sales team and you're looking to hire a sales manager. My opinion is that is incredibly sales target driven. Let's say your goal is 3.5 million. Their goal is to sell $300,000 a month. If they hit that number, they get a percentage of the commission earned by the entire team. My opinion is it's about 20% of the commission earned. Or let's just say you have a 10% commission rate on average, you're looking at 2% of the overall revenue that goes to that person. It drives them to push the team to sell more. It drives them to promote the success of the business. it would be a higher salary, lower amount based on commission, but I think that person should benefit when the team is successful. So a good way to do that would be to set some sort of monthly sales targets or quarterly sales targets, and that sales manager would get a percentage of the commission earned by the entire team. You got to figure out what works for your numbers, but that's how I would do that there. When you're getting into what works, what doesn't work, you have to make sure that a salesperson, if successful, can earn six figures. If they can't, you're not going to get a very high performing salesperson, because anybody who's good at sales knows they're worth at least $100,000 in personal income every year. So if your commission structure based on your current volume does not equate to that, it could be like you need to increase volume, that's good, but like they have to see a potential to get to $100,000 in income, or the percentage might need to change, and or your pricing might need to change. But ultimately, to get a high performing sales rep, they have to see a potential in earning $100,000. If you have somebody interviewing for a sales job right now and you say, what's your earning goal? And they say, well, I'd like to make about 50 or 60 grand a year. They're not a very good salesperson. They're either they've never done the job, or that's all they've ever made, and that's not a lot of money for a salesperson. That might be a lot of money for a production person, but as far as a revenue producing salesperson who's going to go out and hunt for you and find you more business and scale your business, they're going to want to be able to earn $100,000. That might sound like a lot of money to some of you. I get it. That's the reality of the situation though. A salesperson who's really good at their job wants to make at least six figures. So if your structure, whether it's 10%, 13%, 8% on the top line, or you have some sort of profit share based on profitability of the project, which can work, I don't like it as much, but it's still an option, make sure that it can equate, if targets are hit, to an amount of money that would be appealing to a high quality salesperson. So that's a few of the things I've done in the past to set myself up for success when adding or creating a sales team and a commission structure. If you have any questions, join my construction selling Facebook group, comment in the group, shoot me a DM on Instagram at WinRate Consulting, or just shoot me an email, mike@winrateconsulting.com. I'd love to engage with you. I'd love to help you through this process, because this single step, adding a sales team or expanding your sales team, is the difference between you scaling to where you want to be and kind of staying plateaued or even reducing where you are right now. And I don't want that, because I want you to win fast and win often.